What's up, everybody? Ben here. Today I have I'm going to do a reaction video. So I have not seen my two-seat red RZR Pro R since I let one of my employees borrow it for the weekend and he crashed it. So I unlocked the shop and I turned on the light, but I haven't been in there yet. My homie Jack is with me and we're gonna see what it's like. So here it goes. The good news is I've had my coffee today, so maybe that'll calm my nerves. Oh, I have not seen the front. That does not look good. All right, so I've seen a camera shot. So I've seen some of this back stuff, but I haven't seen it all. But it's already worse than I was thinking it was. Oof. So, lights, this trunk, the ABF trunk, that's a very expensive piece and it's custom powder coated. Plastic is painted. The doors, they're painted. They're expensive. So from the camera, this is what I could see is the shock. I knew the shock was in really bad shape, so that's why it's squatting and sitting on the ground. I don't know what all that fluid is. There's a part just laying on the ground. I don't know what that is. Something. Brand new carbon fiber trim piece back here. It's all smushed up. It's crooked in the exhaust. It's crooked. But the mounting points are still solid. So the thing I am absolutely terrified of is if the frame is tweaked or crooked or something somehow. And it's already starting to look that way. So I want to find the upper shock mount. I don't know where that is. None of these things are mounted anymore. They're just hanging on. So the upper shock mount up there somewhere. I want to find that and see if its tabs are bent or tweaked or something. Because if they are, we're gonna have a lot bigger problem than I was thinking. The main thing, of course, is that nobody was hurt. He called and texted me as soon as it happened, and that was my first question, as always, if everybody's okay. Well, there's that shock piece. Oh, there's some other shock pieces. Good. I needed these springs. I wanted that. So I just had both of my Pro R's suspension done by Shock Therapy. So that's custom valving and springs and everything. Inside, I don't know what's up with that steering wheel sticking out like that. That's not right. Front appears to be mostly normal so far, other than the fact that this wheel is off for some reason, and it's just laying on the ground. Oh, okay, it's the tie rod. Okay, good. So the tie rod is good and bent. So that's an easy front fix. I guess that's why they took the front wheel off. I just got these new tires too. I ordered those a long time ago and got them recently. I know, Jack, I don't like it either. Okay, let's keep going. Both doors appear to be, bent and tweaked and stuff, but they're not like totaled. And this one's not lining up at all. That's probably why. Oh, the door frame itself is broken. This door probably came open or something. I don't know. Who knows? I gotta figure this out. I don't know why that. Maybe that's just part of the telescoping. I don't know. Maybe that's just the way it telescopes in and out. But I've never seen that much steering shaft exposed. So I'll have to figure that out. Cage did its job. Harnesses and seats did their jobs. So thank you, ABF, for building a safe cage. That's always the most important part, because this is an entirely different conversation if somebody's in the hospital. So these little tabs are just kind of, they're just kind of busted, but I think those clips could still maybe hang on to them somehow. It just looks like everything's like jarred loose, like it's all just kind of barely there. So, well, I'm gonna have to disassemble a lot of this. I'm gonna take the plastics off. It looks like all the rear plastics are shot. The doors and the roof that are metal, they are probably salvageable. I think we can just kind of straighten those out a little bit. Lights, trunk, bed plastics, all that. So the plastics are expensive. I mean, like I got on RockyMountain.com, and like just this piece that's painted from the factory is like $500 for my car. Now, I don't have to get the factory painted one because, of course, these are custom painted. So I'm going to see if I can find a cheaper one. Like if you get the RZRs that are just like gray or something like that, it's cheaper than getting like, this one was originally called like Azure Blue or something like that. It's like a metallic paint job from the factory. So maybe that's why it's more expensive. So, okay, just looking at it, the shock is the reason that it is squatting so much and the front wheel being off. So tie rod and shock might get it sitting right, and then I'll be able to judge better if things are going to square up. Something I'm very unsure about, and I am also very nervous about right now, that could lead to a very expensive fix or a totaled machine, is the fact that this and this are still bolted in, apparently, in the correct spots, but it doesn't line up. So if this frame rail and that frame rail have been kind of tweaked over to one side or the other, that's going to be a big problem. But I don't think that's the case. Just looking through it, I don't see anything kinked or whatever on the frame. I think maybe the exhaust is what's pulled to the side real hard or something, because it appears to be pushed into the motor. Yeah, that's not right. That's more than normal. So this bumper piece has the frame rail just like stuck all the way through it. So I got to figure out the fluid thing. It might have just been overflow, from oil or coolant or something, but I don't see any hits or damage like actually impacting the motor. and just eyeballing the frame rail line as it comes down here, I think all that looks to be straight. The way these attach and the way the Pro R chassis are, the bolt goes into the end, and that's a funny angle, but that's because it's aftermarket. I think that's the way they're supposed to be. Yeah. And I have a good reference because right here is a 4-seater. Yeah, so that angle, you know, where the bolt goes in like this, but the cage takes a sharp, you know, upwards turn. I think that's just because it's aftermarket. That's the angle it's supposed to be. So, all right. Well, obviously it's a chance to do some aftermarket upgrading. I have been trying to. I've been I guess researching some exhaust systems. I don't think I was going to turbo these cars, so I was just going to put like an aftermarket exhaust on. There's several options out there that look pretty cool. So I'm not too hurt about the exhaust. The trunk is an expensive aftermarket piece. The doors, hopefully I can save them, but they're an expensive aftermarket piece. All of these rear plastics from the factory, sometimes they're $100 a piece, sometimes they're $500 a piece. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to check that out. I would love to get some takeoffs, like somebody built a race car or changed those things. So there's also, I think, some aftermarket rear fenders I've seen, but I think they just go on top of the factory stuff. So I still need these. So the shock is something that really might take a lot of time, because last time I checked, these shocks are $2,500 just from the factory, and they're 6 months wait. Like I say, these were just done with shock therapy, so I'm gonna call shock therapy and see if I can send them mine. And if it's just a matter of, like, you know, getting a new shock body and a new shock shaft, and then they can use my electronics and reservoir and you know, all those other parts to a shock, then that'd be great. You know, that might just be shock fluid. That might just be hydraulic fluid that came out of the shock that's splattered all over the car. That would make sense, and I would be happy to hear that. Hopefully nothing sucked in real hard into the clutch. So, all right, well, I'm going to jack it up and try to get it sitting right. And then I'm just going to start taking plastic pieces off and see what I can find out. I have like 10 quick light whips laying around, so this doesn't really bother me. Oof, it's definitely a big oof. Everybody's okay. That's the main thing. He told me kind of what happened. We had a very brief conversation about it. So I'm going to try to get maybe a little more info, but I'm not going to harp a whole lot on what happened and whose fault it is and all that kind of stuff. It just, you know, these are accidents, but we're going to try to make it right. And then kind of an opportunity to upgrade on some things. You know, that's always one way I look at crashing toys is it's an opportunity. That's what we did on the Catmobile over there. And it, back there in the back, the yellow Catmobile, it got crashed last year by a friend of ours, and built it back better. Took a lot of time, took a lot of money, but those things are not as important as somebody's health and safety. So we'll I think I'm going to start maybe wrenching on this thing a little bit. So we'll see if we can dig in further on this video now. But I'm gonna need to drink some coffee and take a little breather. Man. Okay, so I did some more disassembly. These are just parts. About half of this is trash. Some of it, so like this piece, it might be salvageable, but like, you know, like the tabs are kind of messed up, stuff like that. But still got to remove a few things. So I'm going to take those vent covers off, try to bend them back. But the actual box is trash. That's a Polaris piece for the belt cover, or for the belt intake, coolant intake, connects to this pipe. But I think I can take these vents off and bend them. I don't know, make them try to resemble straight. Missing a nut and a bolt there, or whatever, or a screw. This piece is trash. That piece is trash. Those are the inside covers from inside. Here's the shock. It looks like the shock basically just got hyperextended and it pulled the bottom cap out. And the shaft just came right out and all the fluid with it. So I assume the shaft is bad, but I called Shock Therapy and they gave me some input, and basically they'll service the shock. So I'm just gonna ship them all the parts. They'll replace what needs to be replaced and put it back to the valving and way it was done in the first place. Yeah, so this subframe broken piece, I think I already talked about that. I can't remember. So I took apart the interior, really got the seats out. I hate these ratcheting harnesses. They're factory harnesses, so I wanted to get those out anyways. This door is pretty bent up. I left it on because I think the frame is straight and the frame is good. I just need to kind of push these pieces back and see if I can't make that square up. And then I'll pull it off and probably have to have it repainted. Haven't touched the roof. I did take off the other door and the seats, as you see. That other door over here, it is cooked. So the door skin it's like pushed out pretty bad in a few of those, pushed in. So I'm gonna try to push that back, but the door frame needs to be replaced, of course, because the latch and everything is all busted up. I bet you I can find takeoffs, because there's a lot of people that put aftermarket doors on that don't use the factory door frame. So I'm gonna try to get a factory takeoff. This piece I think is good. It's got a few marks on it, but I think it's okay. This piece I think is okay. Has a little crack here and there, but I think it's good enough. I don't know. Interior, got all kinds of stuff kind of popped loose. These panels don't fit real well anyways. So this brings me to my big unknown. All right, I thought just the tie rod was bent. Turns out it's more than that. This is the first year model of the Pro R, the 22, and they have ball joints that are known to be weak. So both upper and lower ball joints are broken on this side. So this hub is just dangling by the axle. The axle has a whole lot of marks on it also. So I bet you all that's cooked. I'll be lucky if the arms are okay. I don't want them anyways because they upgraded the ball joints in the 23 model. So I think I'm just gonna replace the front arms with 23 and up models with the upgraded ball joints. Brake line might be toast, not sure. But this leads to a bigger problem. Is there's a few things that aren't quite aligned up here that are making me nervous. So some of this might have, it obviously took an impact, but some of this might be like pushed in or something like that. Because the door doesn't even come close to latching. This piece is like kinked out and none of this is snapping back the way it's supposed to. The door obviously took a pretty hard hit up here. That's why that frame is broken. So a lot of this might be a serious problem also. I'm gonna maybe take some of it apart sooner than later. But anyways, and there's sand everywhere. It's funny, I've ridden in sand my whole life and I've never had this much sand in a vehicle. I mean, unless somebody intentionally roosts me, I just don't get that kind of sand in me, in the car. Kind of funny. But But anyways, I think this is it for this video. I'm gonna stop crying about it, and I'm gonna keep at it. I'm gonna ship this thing to Shock Therapy immediately and order a bunch of plastic pieces and see if I can get them at the paint shop sooner than later. Haven't decided what I want to do with this trunk. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna put this trunk back on there. It may be more work than it's worth to try to bend it back straight. I love the way the ABF trunks look, but the function isn't quite where I want it, so I might do no trunk, or I'm thinking about doing a different brand of trunk. Also the muffler, I have not taken it off. I think it's fine. It just got pushed on and that bracket's bent down there. So I'm actually gonna put this factory muffler on my blue 4-seater because it has a gutted muffler that sounds terrible. So I'm going to swap that out and start cutting out some of these aftermarket lights and stuff that I don't want in there. But that's it for the Carnage review. There's only 2 or 3 of these pieces here that's good, but the rest of it's gonna go in the garbage today. And then I'm gonna order some parts and maybe start talking to the paint shop about getting all my panels in there. I'm pretty sure, actually, I think I'm 100% sure I've made up my mind. I am not gonna send this to, like, I'm not gonna take it and drop it off to ABF or something like that. That's what I did with the RS1 because it needed a cage and there were some question marks about the frame and stuff, but I don't think this needs that. It's just scuffed up and it's just a bunch of panels, so I'm just gonna do it all myself. I've already got almost all of it apart anyways. Order some new harnesses. I'll look forward to that. I want new harnesses anyways, so that's it. Like and subscribe if you want to see more content about this Pro R coming back to life, as well as any of the other projects we have going on. The other razors aren't here at the moment, but you see my YXZs and other stuff, and I got a bunch of automotive stuff too that I do in Texas, but I do all that on this channel as well. So like and subscribe if you're interested, and see you next time.